Now, in like I hear, people can tell stories in a variety of ways, right? So, in your opinion, is storytelling an emotional manipulation or strategic clarity? Sorry for philosophical question here.
It's a very apt question. I did a post literally 2 weeks ago on my LinkedIn profile because I was watching one of these talent shows. I won't mention any names. However, this talent show is known for the contestants telling stories that pull at the heartstrings and bring a tear to the eye. And because the idea is that they want to get votes, and if they get votes, then they're more likely to go on and win. So every single one of these contestants has got this heartrending story to the point where my partner rolls his eyes when he doesn't like that show. As he's passing, because I love it, I'm addicted to it. But as he's passing, he rolls his eyes and he'll say, "Oh, what's the sob story this time?" And that is a classic example of what you're talking about, where stories are used for manipulation. And it's something that comes up in my consultations and in my training often, where people say, "Anna, you're giving me this tool," and they recognize the power of storytelling. And obviously, at the same time, they recognize how manipulative it can be. And the answer is always to have the right standpoint when you're telling the story, and make sure that when you tell the story, you say, "Am I genuinely telling this because I want to clarify something, if I want to illuminate something, if I want to help my clients see something that they needed to learn? Is this story genuinely of benefit? Or am I telling this story to get a reaction, get a response, or getting a sale?" The only way that you can realistically manage that is to manage yourself. Have integrity, and make sure that and the right people that I work with are unlikely to use manipulation. But it is a topic that comes up, and as I say, it's a topic that I'm writing about in my articles because it's a big no-no.
Now, I've heard, I've participated in several exercises with companies before on the topic of sales strategies, positioning, etc. And most common thing that I always hear is the story is not resonating. And there are, you're the expert, tell me, there are many factors why a story will not resonate. It doesn't stick. People don't remember it. And you talked about, that show that engages emotions. So I'm assuming a story has multiple facets, multiple aspects, where it has to engage the logic, the emotion, and a few other traits. You tell me. Why would something resonate versus something that doesn't resonate?
Because it's the classic principle of sales. You're selling the change that the person will experience. You're not selling what you believe is the solution. If the story doesn't resonate, you're focusing on what you think is going to be the right story for that person in terms of the change, in terms of the problem that you're solving. But you probably haven't listened to understand exactly what that person wants to do after they've engaged with your product. I always use the expression, it's about futures, not features. If you're selling something that can show somebody having a better future after they've interacted with your product or service, it is going to resonate because you will be nailing it exactly where they are in terms of what they want to understand. You tell a story that shows the future with them using your product and how that will look and feel. And the story should be descriptive. The story should obviously describe what you do as a solution, but it should put them in the picture of, this is what my outcome will be like. This is what my life will be like after I've interacted with it. It will resonate if you listen and respond appropriately and make sure, as I say, they can see themselves in the story better off with your product or service.